Look, I'm delighted today to see our Foreign Minister here. It gives an indication of the support that the Australian government has for Israel as a nation, and it gives an indication and I know from nearly 15 years of personal association with Stephen, it gives an indication to you all what he truly believes in terms of both of our nations. Stephen, I'd like to welcome you to the stage. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Bob, to you as the inaugural chair of the Friends of Israel Western Australia, to Ray Halligan as the deputy chair, to the many Rabbinon here, to Pastor Margaret Court, to my very many state and federal parliamentary colleagues, members of the Jewish community of Western Australia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, firstly, can I say how pleased I am to be here. And I wasn't sure until the beginning of this weekend that I'd actually be in the state at this time. So I know I'm a late entry, but I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased to be here, obviously, as Foreign Minister, but I'm also very pleased to be here as the Federal Member for Perth, with a long-standing, very enjoyable, warm and close relationship with the Jewish community in Perth over a long period of time. And those of you who know me well know that I started off in public life in that sense as a staffer to Joe Berenson, who I often say to my staff, I was trained well and that's why I require particular work habits from you. But we of course have parliamentary friends of Israel, both state and federal. In some respects it's a surprise that it's taken us so long to have a general Friends of Israel Western Australia. So this is a particularly good and a particularly productive and a particularly supportive initiative. Australian governments, of course, have supported the right of Israel to exist since its inception. In 1947, the Chifley government strongly supported both the creation of the State of Israel and its right to exist. That policy position, the right of Israel to exist as a nation state, the right of Israel to exist as a state within defined borders, the right of Israel to exist with its people in an environment of peace and security, has been the long-standing policy, firm, strong policy of successive Australian governments since that time. And long may that continue. I've acknowledged my parliamentary colleagues who are here. Can I also acknowledge Julie Bishop, my parliamentary colleague, who, for all of the obvious reasons, is not here. But if she was in the state, she would be here because she and I have on previous occasions shared more than one platform strongly supporting the right of Israel to exist and Israel's right and the right of its people to exist within an environment of safety, peace and security. So these long-standing, enduring foreign and public policy attributes of successive Australian governments are very strong within the Australian political psyche, and they endure. And that is why successive Australian governments continue to strongly support the ongoing peace processes to effect an enduring, sustainable, long-term peace in the Middle East, where the State of Israel and the people of Israel can exist within that environment of safety, peace and security. So, Bob, congratulations to you and your colleagues on this initiative. The fact that so many of my parliamentary colleagues from both sides of both the state and federal parliament are here reflects the strength and enduring nature of Australia's long-term commitment to Israel. Thank you.
Stephen, thank you. And I've just presented Stephen with one of Calvin's books, so that, but I can assure you he probably doesn't need to read it. He knows more than both Calvin and I put together, I'm sure. Look, thank you for that, and thank you for your kind words.